I hate to break it to you, but being a heart-centered entrepreneur or retreat creator with an amazing service is just not enough to create a thriving and abundant business. In today's digital world, even the most skilled healing practitioners are still struggling to get noticed without effective marketing. Did you know that the average customer interacts with a brand 8 times before making a purchasing decision? Yet most conscious entrepreneurs are still relying on word of mouth and hoping clients will somehow find them. In this digital marketing masterclass, I'll give you an exact blueprint on how to create an authentic marketing system that attracts your ideal clients without feeling salesy or getting overwhelmed. You'll discover why marketing is the fuel that propels your business forward, the proven approach that conscious businesses are using to stand out in 2025, how to build a marketing platform that creates trust with potential clients, a complete content creation system that saves you time while building your business, and the most powerful digital marketing asset that drives over 300% return on investment. Plus, I've made a content creation framework guide that you can download for free with the link in the description. These frameworks have helped countless people create authentic connections with their audience, even if they struggled with creating content in the past. And this guide even comes with custom AI tools to make content creation faster and easier than ever. So whether you're just starting out or looking to grow an already established business, by the end of this video, you'll have a clear roadmap to market your business in a way that feels aligned with your values while driving real growth. When most people think about marketing, they tend to think of aggressive sales tactics, pushy social media posts, and endless ads. People in this space especially tend to see marketing as a necessary evil that they have to put up with in order to grow their business. But effective marketing can actually be much more simple, authentic, and enjoyable than most people realize. But before we get too far, I want to take a couple of minutes to introduce myself. What's up? I'm Ian, founder of Retreat Help. At Retreat Help, we build marketing systems and digital infrastructure for conscious entrepreneurs and retreat creators. Helping conscious business owners build successful businesses is a passion of mine, and it's why I do what I do, but it's been quite a journey to get here. After going to college for microbiology and chemistry, I worked for 2 Fortune 500 healthcare companies early in my career. After leaving healthcare, I worked in the cannabis industry and ended up managing a dispensary in Las Vegas with almost 30 employees that grossed 6 figures a month. At a certain point, I got fed up with the corporate world and walked away from what many people would consider a dream job. From there, I spent the next few years facilitating various forms of plant medicine ceremonies and supporting people in that space. When I left the corporate world, I honestly never thought I would talk about business ever again. But the universe obviously had different plans, because after a lot of trial and error, I discovered ways to do business that aligned with my personal values of wanting to make the world a better place. And I'm here to share with you what I've learned so you don't have to go through the long trial and error period that I did. Along with Retreat Help, I run 2 podcasts, 2 YouTube channels, and I'm active on various social media platforms. The strategies that I'm going to be sharing with you today are some of the strategies that myself and countless others have successfully used, which leads us to where we are today. One of the most rewarding parts of what I do is showing people how marketing can feel natural, fun, and aligned with their values while still driving real business growth. And when it comes to growing your business or building a brand, there's a lot of stuff out there on the internet. But today, we're going to get right to it and focus on what actually matters in digital marketing. We'll look at real examples of systems that work, common pitfalls to avoid, and practical steps you can take and implement in your business today. Now, I encourage you not to take notes so that you can be present and absorb as much information as possible. This video will always be here for your reference, and you can always come back and look at it whenever you like. So whether you're just starting out or looking to grow, I guarantee you'll leave this webinar with clear, actionable steps and a fresh perspective on how to approach marketing. The best and most obvious place to start is with this simple question. What exactly is marketing? Well, at its core, marketing is the process of capturing attention and building relationships with potential customers. That's it. Now, people often lump sales and marketing together, but marketing and sales actually require 2 different skill sets. Marketing is about capturing attention, building trust, and establishing a relationship, while sales is about converting that attention and trust into actual business. 2 very different things. But this is only part of the picture when it comes to creating a functioning business. Marketing and sales are 2 pieces of a larger puzzle. Now, if you watched any of my content, you might be aware of the 4 pillars. The 4 pillars are the 4 fundamental components that every successful conscious business needs. We've got marketing, which is getting people's attention, sales, which is turning that interest into actual business, technical systems, which is the software, services, and digital infrastructure running in the background that keeps everything on the front end working smoothly. And the last pillar is business organization, which is how you structure and manage everything. Now, if you think of business as a car, marketing is the fuel. You may have the most amazing vehicle with a powerful engine, beautiful interior, and the smoothest ride. But without fuel, it's not going anywhere. And that's the same with your business. You could have the best service in the world, but without marketing, nobody's likely going to know about it. Marketing is what moves your business forward, brings in new customers, and creates positive momentum for growth. Now, one of the biggest misconceptions that I run into is people thinking that if I just create an amazing enough service, clients will naturally find me. But that's simply not reality. Now, more than ever, customers are taking their time and doing their research before ever making a decision to buy. This is one of the reasons why having a consistent, authentic marketing presence is so crucial. These days, before someone books a retreat, signs up for a program, or even schedules a call, they're likely to check out your website, look at your social media, read reviews or testimonials. They might watch some of your content, and they'll probably compare you to other similar services. And this is why effective marketing isn't just about promoting your services. It's about building relationships, providing value, and showing up consistently where your ideal clients are looking. Quick question. When was the last time you saw an ad on social media and bought a product straight away without looking at reviews or doing any additional research? Probably doesn't happen very often. That's because effective marketing is a long-term game that requires long-term thinking. When it comes to marketing, there are basically two approaches, organic and paid. Organic marketing means creating free content and building your presence naturally over time through things like content creation, social media presence, and email marketing. This also includes referrals, while paid marketing involves directly paying for visibility through things like social media ads, Google ads, and paid sponsorships. You can think of it like this. Paid marketing is like turning on a faucet. You can usually get immediate results, but the flow of leads coming into your business stops when you turn off the ads. While organic marketing is more like planting a garden. It takes more time and effort up front and creates longer lasting results through building a relationship and trust with your audience. Plus, content you create now keeps working for you long after you publish it. And there's one thing that's really important to understand that a lot of people miss, and that is no matter what, all marketing has a cost. The cost of marketing is either time, money, or both time and money. Organic marketing is typically going to take longer and require a larger time investment upfront, while paid marketing produces quicker results and has a greater upfront monetary cost. Now, there's no right or wrong or better or worse when it comes to organic versus paid. What's right for one business might not be right for another. In reality, the ideal marketing strategy is really going to depend on the goals and the needs of each individual business. Now, the most successful businesses that I've worked with usually start with organic marketing to build their foundation, then add paid marketing later to amplify what's already working. And this approach allows you to develop your brand and find your authentic voice over time through trial and error. When you find your groove and start to pick up some traction with organic marketing, you can be much more confident when moving into paid ads because you're driving traffic into a system that you already know produces results. Turning on that faucet at that point is going to be much more cost effective because you aren't spending money on the trial and error phase of your marketing development. Now, it's not about choosing one or the other. It's about knowing when and how to use each type of marketing effectively. Many of you may be familiar with the YouTube channel Yoga with Adriene. Now, if you're not, she's built one of the most successful online yoga businesses in the world, and she did it primarily through organic marketing. Back in 2012, Adriene Mishler started the YouTube channel just making basic yoga videos. Nothing fancy, no sponsors or monetization, just consistent, valuable content. Today, she has over 13 million subscribers, her videos have been viewed more than 1.5 billion times, and she got to this level of success with mostly organic marketing. So what made her organic marketing strategy so effective? Well, there are a few things. The first is consistency. She published weekly videos without fail. The next is authenticity. She developed her own unique style and voice. Instead of trying to copy what other yoga teachers were doing, she let her personality shine through. Next was her value-first approach. She gave away tons of free high-quality content. Each video was designed to provide real value. Next was the community building aspect of what she was doing. Adrienne engaged with her audience and created space for people to connect with each other. She listened to what her audience wanted and adapted her content accordingly. Her 30-day yoga challenges in particular became hugely popular because they delivered real results for people at no cost. Next was smart positioning. She made yoga accessible to everyone. Instead of targeting experienced yogis, she focused on beginners and people who might be intimidated by a traditional yoga class. She literally has a video called Yoga for Complete Beginners that has over 44 million views. Yoga with Adrienne is just one of the many examples of what successful organic marketing can look like. Now, before I move on, I have a question. Let's see if you know the answer to this. What percentage of total gross revenue does the average B2C business spend on marketing? The answer? 5 to 10%. And that number will be closer to 10% or maybe even a little higher for newer businesses that don't have a well-established marketing system in place. The moral of the story is that marketing is an essential and absolutely non-negotiable aspect of business. Something that I've witnessed is that successful business owners tend to have a different mindset around marketing. They look at marketing as an opportunity and an investment in the future success of their business. One of the biggest challenges for newer business owners when it comes to marketing revolves around their mindset and perception of marketing. If you look at marketing as an unnecessary expense that's just taking money out of your pocket, and if you look at marketing as an optional expense that you should try to minimize, then your car, aka business, will probably end up stalled out on the side of the road. Marketing is an investment in your business, and marketing always has a cost. This is something I'm trying to hammer home because it's super important. Sure, Adrienne is balling now, but it took her years to get to where she is today. She invested a ton of time into organic content before seeing any return on that investment. Thinking of marketing as an investment and not as an expense is really important to understand. This is something that I see people get wrong all the time. And there's a real cost to not investing in an effective marketing strategy. And I'm not just talking about lost sales, although that is certainly part of it. First, there's the obvious. Without effective marketing, potential customers who need what you have to offer will have a harder time finding you. Right now, there are people out there who are actively looking to pay someone for exactly what you're selling. Ineffective marketing will make it less likely that you're the person they'll find, even if you're world-class at what you do. Then there's the cost of inefficiency. Without proper marketing systems in place, you're probably spending more time and money than needed to acquire each customer. A lot of conscious business owners want to rely solely on referrals or word of mouth. While referrals are great, if that's your only source of new clients, it can severely limit your long-term growth potential. Another issue is that businesses without solid marketing strategies often fall into feast or famine cycles. One month, you're overwhelmed with clients. Then the next month, you're scrambling to find them. This kind of inconsistency is not fun to manage, and it makes it nearly impossible to scale your business effectively. Now, with all of the conflicting data out there about marketing, it can be really easy to fall into these situations where your marketing isn't as effective as it could be. I've identified 6 key principles that work consistently across all different types of businesses to produce the best results when it comes to digital marketing. The first and most crucial principle is consistency. Now, I'm not just talking about how often you're posting on social media. What I'm referring to is consistent content creation, branding, and messaging. Those things together help lead to steady engagement with your audience. Now, a question that I get all the time is, how often should I be posting to social media? My answer to that question is always focus more on consistency than frequency. That might mean you're posting once a day, once a week, or even once a month. What's important is that you first develop that habit of creating content. Once you've developed that habit and creating content has become part of your normal routine, then it becomes much easier and more sustainable to post more often if you want. The next success principle is commitment to improvement. If you commit to improving your content by just 1% every post, every week, or every month, then you're bound to see results. That could look like improving your thumbnail, your video title, learning new editing techniques, creating a stronger hook for your video. There are so many opportunities to make small improvements. Small improvements over time compound and lead to significant results. These two principles are absolutely fundamental for long-term success. And if you can show up consistently and keep learning and adjusting based on what works, success becomes almost inevitable. The only way you can fail if you're doing both of those things is if you quit. The third success principle is the value-first approach. Focus on solving problems over selling and share your expertise freely. Do your best to educate your audience and provide as much value to them as you can. Offering a real solution that's not just a quick fix goes a long way with people. The fourth principle is that authenticity builds trust. Be yourself and stay true to your values. These days, people are craving genuine connection more than ever. Today's social media viewers care less about perfectly polished editing and more about getting to know who their favorite influencers really are. The fifth success principle is strategic planning. Have clear and measurable goals. Things that are measurable are much easier to improve and make adjustments to. Have a clear desired outcome in mind and maintain a level of flexibility with your approach. That way, you can make necessary changes as you need to. And I like to call the final success principle, done is better than perfect. This is a big one. Prioritize taking consistent, imperfect action over making sure every little thing is just right. Things really changed for me personally when I adopted the belief that there is no such thing as failure, only feedback. Now I'm going to repeat that. There is no such thing as failure, only feedback. The word failure is just a label we choose to attach to a certain event or outcome in our lives. That's it. Imagine two baseball players going up to bat. One of them really wants to smash a home run, while the other one is more focused on getting on base. Each of them hits a single to the exact same spot. The first player might consider that a miserable failure, while the second batter might think of that as a success. Ultimately, both batters did the exact same thing and had the exact same outcome. So is hitting a single good or bad? Well, that all depends on a person's mindset. When we can stop looking at everything through the lens of good and bad, then the experiences in our lives just become feedback. And feedback is incredibly valuable when trying to make improvements in different areas of our lives. Now, let me be really clear about something. You don't need to master all of the principles all at once. Start with consistency and commitment to improvement. As those become habits, you can then layer in the other principles over time. Now that we have a clear idea of what marketing is and why it's important, it's time to look at effective systems we can use to turn our visions into reality. But first, I'm curious, what does your content creation strategy look like right now? Now's a good time to pause and reflect on the different success principles and what you're doing well and what can be improved upon. And when it comes to marketing systems, the most effective system that you can use to implement the concepts I've talked about thus far in a way that's efficient and creates positive long-term results is called an authority platform. Now, I'm curious if anyone out there is familiar with the concept of an authority platform. If not, you can think of your authority platform as your home base. It's the foundation of your marketing presence. Your authority platform is where you consistently show up to provide value, share your expertise, and build relationships with your audience. This is where you attract an engaged audience who views you as a leader in your field. And your authority platform could be a YouTube channel, a podcast, a blog, a newsletter, a strong social media presence, or a combination of any of these. It's not necessarily one thing or one platform, although it certainly can be, and you don't need to be everywhere all at once. In fact, trying to maintain a consistent presence on every platform is usually a recipe for burnout. The key is to choose one main platform that aligns with your strengths, reaches your ideal audience, feels sustainable for you long term, and allows you to consistently deliver valuable content. Your authority platform will be the primary focus of your content creation strategy. Other platforms can support it, but don't make the mistake of spreading yourself too thin and trying to be everywhere all at once. Remember how I mentioned earlier that Adrienne Mishler focused on creating consistent YouTube content? Well, YouTube wasn't just a platform for her to share her yoga videos. It became her authority platform and the foundation for her entire business. By focusing primarily on YouTube, she was able to build a massive engaged community, establish herself as a trusted voice in the yoga space, create content that continues to grow her audience years later, and position herself as the go-to teacher for beginners. Building that strong foundation on YouTube gave her the ability to branch out and create a thriving business that now has multiple revenue streams, like a popular membership site, sold-out international retreats, a successful merchandise line, brand partnerships and sponsorships. This is exactly why having an authority platform is so powerful. You're able to build trust and credibility in one place. Then you can expand into other offerings that serve your community at different levels. Your free content brings people in, and a percentage of those people will want to go deeper with you through paid offerings. With this system, Adrienne never had to sell anything. People were already convinced of her expertise through her free content. They already knew her teaching style, and they already trusted her. When she offered additional ways to work with her, it was a natural next step for her audience. So based on what we've covered thus far, ask yourself this. Are you currently engaged in someone else's authority platform? It could be a podcast that you never miss, a favorite YouTube channel, or a social media page. I know I certainly am. Interacting with potential customers that you get to know through your authority platform is much different than interacting with leads that come through paid ads. Trust me, it's something that I've experienced myself, and it's a night and day difference. People who view your content get to know you, and there's a level of trust established right from the beginning. There's no right or wrong, but it's hard to articulate just how much easier sales conversations are with someone who already knows and likes you. And based on current trends in technology and consumer behavior, YouTube is really the best place to build your authority platform, especially if you're just starting out. Because unlike most social media where your content disappears into the feed after a day or two, YouTube videos can stay relevant and keep getting views for years. Someone could find a video you made 3 years ago through a Google search today, and if that content is still relevant, you've just made a new connection without doing any extra work. Think about it. When was the last time you watched a 3-year-old Instagram reel or TikTok compared to the last time you watched an older YouTube video? Speaking of Google searches, most people don't realize this, but YouTube is the second largest search engine on the internet, right after Google. This means that when people are looking for solutions to their problems, there's a good chance they're looking on YouTube. And since Google owns YouTube, your videos are more likely to show up in regular Google searches as well. Another big advantage of video content is that it typically gets more engagement when shared on other platforms. You can take your clips from YouTube videos and share them on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and they'll generally perform better than text or static images. Plus, there's a growing expectation from consumers that businesses will have video content available. People want to see who they're potentially working with, get a feel for your personality, and understand your approach before they reach out. And video lets them do all of that in a way that written content just can't match. And if we look at content creation in terms of ROI, the longevity and higher engagement of YouTube videos makes it hard to justify focusing your limited resources anywhere else. You simply get the most bang for your buck with video content. And you don't need a huge following or a ton of subscribers. A relatively small but engaged group of loyal customers can support a business in a really meaningful way. And here's an example that proves you don't need millions of views to generate significant revenue through YouTube. Jay Hale is a business owner with a relatively small YouTube channel. As of the making of this webinar, his channel has less than 800 subscribers and averages about 250 views per video. Yet last year alone, his channel helped generate over $1 million for his small local business. Instead of chasing viral content, Jay creates targeted videos that explain not just how, but the why behind his gym's training methods. These conversation-style videos show potential clients what it's like to work with his team. The result of this approach is that his sales call conversion rates jumped from 20 to 50%. Hale's gym is actually serving fewer clients than before, but generates more revenue because his content helps him stand out. People stopped comparing his gym to others and started to see his unique value, which allowed him to charge more for his services. And this is just one example of how YouTube can work for any business. It's not just about going viral or competing with big influencers. It's about creating value-driven, authentic content that resonates with your ideal clients and builds trust before they ever speak with you. So for all the reasons I just laid out, I typically recommend focusing on YouTube as your authority platform. But it's important to understand that you shouldn't limit yourself to just one channel of communication. Think of YouTube as the home base for your content, but it's not your one and only touch point with potential clients. The most successful businesses create what I call a media ecosystem. This is where your content lives and gets distributed across multiple platforms, reaching people wherever they prefer to consume their content. Some people love watching videos, others prefer reading blog posts, and some mainly use Instagram. With today's technology and the growing popularity of social media management apps, creating a media ecosystem is easier than ever. And building this ecosystem doesn't mean you need to create unique content for every platform. That would be exhausting and inefficient. Instead, you can create a system where one piece of content feeds many channels. This is where the content pillar comes in. A content pillar is a longer form piece of content that gets broken down into multiple smaller pieces of content that can be distributed across different platforms. For example, let's say you make a single 15-minute video for your YouTube channel. From that one video, you can create several short clips for Instagram and TikTok, quote graphics for static social media posts, a blog post expanding on the main points of the video, content for your email newsletter, and multiple short video excerpts. Now, this approach does three important things. It saves you time by repurposing content instead of creating everything from scratch. It keeps your message consistent across all platforms, and it creates multiple entry points for people to discover your content. The key is to plan your content with repurposing in mind. Now, this single hour-long webinar that you're watching right now is going to get turned into a ton of valuable snippets and clips that'll get posted on multiple platforms over the next few weeks. Now, when creating a content pillar, you want to think ahead and make a plan for how that content can be broken down into smaller platform-specific pieces. Unscripted content like a podcast can have some awesome sound bites or a few impactful sections, especially if you've got a big following. And while it does take time to organize your ideas and put them together in a strategic way, what you get from the content that's well thought out is almost always better than an unscripted conversation. And if you're utilizing tools like frameworks and you're using AI the right way, the time it takes to create awesome content can be reduced significantly. I think this is a really important question to ask. Are you using a specific goal-oriented strategy when it comes to making your content? If you're not, that's fine. There's no right or wrong here. But implementing a strategy can have huge implications on you being able to get the results that you want. So once we understand how content pillars can make us more efficient in creating content, the next question is, how do you create content that's valuable and engaging? How do you actually create a content pillar? Well, this is where content frameworks come in. Content frameworks are proven structures for organizing your ideas and delivering them effectively. Think of a content framework like a template or blueprint that helps you communicate your message clearly and keep your audience engaged. Let me give you a simple example. One of my favorite frameworks to use is the pyramid. You start with the main idea, follow that up with supporting arguments, then follow that up with data or examples. It's simple, straightforward, and can be used in almost any context to communicate almost any idea. And this framework can be used to create videos, write social media posts, or even newsletters or emails. Now let's look at some simple examples. Studies show that 15 minutes of morning sun can improve sleep onset by 2 hours. The supporting points are that it sets circadian rhythm, increases melatonin production, and regulates cortisol. Then you would use facts and data to follow up those supporting points. The next example is that by studying a new language just 20 minutes a day, you get better results than doing a single 2-hour study session per week. And that's followed by supporting points and facts and data. Now you can see how each example starts with a clear main point, builds support for that point, and then backs it up with specific evidence. Using this simple structure can make your message clear and compelling every time. And the pyramid is just one of many frameworks that can be used to totally overhaul how you create content. Now, I highly recommend that you download the free guide because the AI tools that I've created do 90 to 95% of the work for you. It's pretty amazing what this technology can do for us. And some of the additional benefits of using frameworks is that they save you time by giving you a clear structure, help you organize your thoughts more effectively, make your content more clear and easier to follow, and they can work across different types of content and platforms. These are super useful and can have an immediate impact on the quality of your content. So if you haven't already gotten it, I highly suggest you download the guide. And once you start to use these frameworks, you'll probably start to notice them being used in different marketing material in your everyday life. And if you work with them enough, you might even find yourself using them naturally in conversation to more clearly and cleanly articulate your ideas. So while your authority platform and content creation strategy serve as the foundation for your digital marketing, there's something even more important that we need to start building as soon as possible. It's essential to have a way to stay connected with prospects that are interested in your business. And this brings us to what will be your most valuable marketing asset, your email list. Now, an email list may not be sexy, but it's super valuable for a couple of reasons. First, it's the only platform that you truly own. YouTube algorithms can change, which can impact your views, and we've all heard of Instagram accounts getting shut down for no apparent reason. But your email list is yours. It's a direct line of communication to people who've essentially said, I want to hear from you. And the second is that numbers don't lie. Email marketing generates on average of $32 to $36 for every dollar spent. That's an over 300% ROI. Compare that to social media advertising, which typically earns just $2.80 per dollar spent. Now, there are several advantages to having a strong email list. The first is that you can share content directly with an engaged audience. You can announce new offerings to warm prospects, you can build deeper relationships over time, and test new ideas with people who trust you. The bottom line is, when someone joins your email list, they're choosing to hear from you, which is a completely different relationship than sending a cold DM or hoping the algorithm shows someone your content. And this brings us to a really important concept called value exchange. Consumers today are protective of their contact information, and rightfully so. People won't just hand over their email address without getting something valuable in return. Now, this could be a helpful guide like the one I'm sharing with you today. It could be exclusive content, special discounts, early access to new offerings, or a free masterclass. Have you ever signed up for a freebie and then immediately got your inbox blown up by spam and regretted your decision? If you're like most people, then that's a yes. The key is that whatever you're offering needs to provide genuine value. When someone shares their email, they're giving you a certain degree of trust. Breaking that trust by sending your email list a bunch of spam and promotions isn't just annoying, it's bad business. And this kind of marketing is not only ineffective, it's actually changed how people make buying decisions. Today's consumers are more cautious, better informed, and have more options than ever before. Understanding this shift is crucial for any business looking to grow in today's market. And according to Salesforce research, customers interact with a brand on average of 8 times before ever making a purchase decision. Think about the process you go through before making a purchase. You probably research different options, read reviews, look for testimonials, and check out related content before making most purchases. It's a thorough process, and it should be. And that's exactly why the approach I've been talking about works so well for conscious entrepreneurs. When someone's looking for a service like yours, they're going to go through this thorough research process. By having content across multiple platforms, especially video content that authentically represents who you are, you're building trust before your potential client ever reaches out. And this is where everything connects. Your YouTube videos give them in-depth, valuable content. Your social media shows you're active and engaged. Your repurposed content helps find people wherever they're at. And your email list keeps you connected with people who aren't ready to buy yet, but might be in the future. Modern consumers want to feel confident in their decisions. They want to know, like, and trust who they're going to be working with before they commit. There are a lot of scammers, shady people, and Nigerian princes out there who will say anything to make a buck. The system we've talked about today isn't just about marketing. It's about building genuine relationships with potential clients in a way that matches how people actually make decisions today. At this point, I've worked with a ton of conscious entrepreneurs, and the first hurdle for most of them is that they don't understand the importance of marketing. And my hope is that this masterclass helps clarify some things and paints a clear picture of why every business needs some sort of marketing. But even when people get it, they often feel like they need some support to get their own marketing systems up and running. And conscious entrepreneurs tend to get stuck because they're not sure where to start or what to focus on first. They don't have a system to create content consistently. They're worried about how they're going to be perceived, and they're trying to do everything themselves, which can lead to burnout. Do any of those things sound familiar? Because they certainly do to me. I still remember being in that place, knowing that I should be putting myself out there, yet not being able to actually do the things I knew I should be doing. And while the system I just laid out is incredibly impactful and powerful, I know some people will need additional support. So, what I've done is put together a comprehensive 2-day workshop where we'll take everything we've talked about today and break it down even further into a complete step-by-step system that you can more easily implement for your business or personal brand. Day 1 has an internal focus and looks at building a solid foundation. First, we'll tackle the marketing mindset, addressing fears, limiting beliefs, and resistance that holds most people back. Then we'll get into brand development, where I'll help you discover your unique brand voice. And we'll work together to develop your core message and unique value proposition. You'll learn how to build trust and credibility in your market. Day 2 is an external focus and is all about strategy and implementation. We'll build out your authority platform and content strategy. You'll learn how to use AI to create content efficiently, and we'll set up your entire content production workflow and create personalized content in a 60-day plan. When it's all said and done, from this workshop, you'll get a new mindset that supports your goals, a complete personalized brand guideline, and this alone would cost over $500 from a branding agency. You'll get a library of content frameworks that you can customize for your business. You'll get ready-to-use AI prompts for fast content creation. You'll get a complete content production workflow and YouTube channel setup guide, and access to a private community for ongoing support and quick answers to your questions. You'll also get a recording of all of these sessions. Not to mention group coaching calls with myself and support of a group of peers who are on the same journey as you. But most importantly, you'll have the confidence to market your business authentically, knowing exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it. Now, this isn't about quick fixes or overnight success. This is about building a sustainable marketing system that grows with your business and continues to attract your ideal clients month after month. Now, if you've been waiting to take your marketing to the next level, but don't know how or where to start, this workshop will give you the clarity, strategy, and tools you need. Now, I'm only going to be doing these webinars on a very limited basis, so follow the link in the description, see what's available, and if there's nothing on the schedule, you can reach out to me directly. I coach people and help people with their marketing and sales and the technical systems in their business and business operations. I help people from the very beginning to the very end. And again, my goal is to help people get from point A to where they want to be with their business. I know the information in this webinar is going to serve you well and help you out immensely. Many blessings on your marketing journey. Take care and be well.